Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Additional arrests tonight in the South Park Mall shooting. About a week and a half after that shooting, 2 more people were arrested tonight in connection with that incident.
That brings the total to 4 arrests. 4 people were hurt in that shooting. Last week, 21-year-old Lawrence Frams and 22-year-old Deontay Johnson were arrested. The night team's Patty Santos reports today's arrests include 2 17-year-old boys.
Police tell us they're glad to get these 2 additional suspects off the street, but they continue to work their intel to figure out if anyone else was involved. Tonight, we can tell you that John Angel Cervantes and Marquise Fanning are going to jail on 4 charges each of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Fanning is facing additional weapons charges after police say they found guns on him today. Cervantes also facing additional charges of marijuana possession and unauthorized use of a vehicle. They found 3 other people with them during their arrest. They were taken in for questioning. The shooting happened on December 18th in a busy hour at South Park Mall. 4 people were hurt. 1 of them is still in the hospital. Tonight, police are looking to see if these people are connected to any other shootings.
Right now, we did recover 3 weapons. Those weapons, of course, will go through testing to see if any of them are involved in additional shootings in the city of San Antonio. But right now, we're very happy to get these individuals off the streets.
And tonight's arrest comes about a week after 2 others were arrested in the South Park Mall shooting. Tonight, police remaining very tight-lipped about a possible motive, but the 2 arrested tonight also proclaiming they are innocent. Tim, EC's.
Patty Santos reporting live for us tonight. Taking a live look outside with Live Cam. The other big story we have our eye on tonight is the weather. What can we expect to ring in the new year?
Meteorologist Sarah Spivey forecasting the start of 2020 for us. Sarah?
Yeah, crazy to think this is the last forecast of 2019, the last forecast of the decade. Well, as we head into tomorrow, things will change up a little bit for us, but for now, it is cool and clear. Temperatures are in the 40s already, and that's after a beautiful day where we were able to warm up into the mid-60s. We've got low humidity as well. Elsewhere, it's starting to get cold up in the hill country. Temperatures are falling into the 30s up in Comfort, Bernie Stage Airfield, and in Kerrville. That's where I think we could have a light freeze tomorrow morning. Here in San Antonio, we'll likely stay just above freezing, waking up to sunny skies. But by midnight, as we ring in 2020, it's actually going to be cloudy. Now, the good news is the rain should hold off until New Year's Day, but I know you want to know if we're going to get some much needed rain. I'll be back with a look at that forecast in just a few. Isis?
Thank you, Sarah. For the 5th year in a row, executions in Texas are down following a national trend. The Texas Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty released new numbers showing there were 9 executions in the state this year compared to 13 last year in 2018. Juries imposing the death penalty has also dropped. Attorney Warren Wolf, an outspoken opponent of the death penalty, says those numbers reflect a growing trend among jurors.
I don't think they see erasing a human life in exchange for another one as the solution.
Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez has said his office will seek the death penalty for Otis McCain. He's accused of the execution-style slaying of veteran San Antonio police officer Benjamin Marconi. McCain is scheduled to be tried next month. Gonzalez says the death penalty should be reserved for the worst of the worst and points out juries do have the option of life without the possibility of parole.
There are changes happening at the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. They come after the arrest of a civilian employee. Andrew Ramos is accused of shooting a relative on Saturday night. He was also previously arrested for a robbery case in 2014. That case, though, dismissed in 2015. And the following year, he was hired under the previous BCSO administration as a jail clothing clerk. Now, under current stricter rules, he would have not been hired. Last year, Sheriff Javier Salazar made one main change. Previously, the background check only covered convictions. Now it covers all arrests, even if they're dismissed. Sheriff Salazar says every deputy gets a new background checked every year, but not in the past. They did not do that with civilian employees. He said now that will change and everyone will get that annual check.
Well, if you feel like police officers and deputies made headlines this year for all the wrong reasons, you're not wrong. At least 18 deputies with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office were arrested this year. For the San Antonio Police Department, it was 6. The night team's Dylan Collier was some of the most notable arrests.
Daniel Pugh, an 11-year veteran and detective with SAPD, was arrested in January on a family violence charge. Pugh was accused of punching a woman in the face while in the front yard. Deputies said the woman's face was covered in blood. Pugh was eventually fired but has appealed his termination. He did beat the criminal charges, which were dismissed several months ago. 2 San Antonio police officers were allegedly caught up in a love triangle this year. Nicolette Muniz is facing an assault-causing bodily injury charge. The 3-year veteran was accused of having an affair with Officer Kenneth Moreno. A police report states that in April, Muniz showed up to Moreno and his girlfriend's home. Muniz allegedly punched the woman in her face and neck. Less than a month later, Moreno was arrested for allegedly threatening to kill his ex-girlfriend. The 13-year veteran of the force was charged with stalking. Muniz and Moreno are on administrative leave. BCSO Deputy Michelle Matthew was arrested in May on a warrant for tampering with a government record. He's accused of writing down that he had checked on inmate Jarnell Kimball when, in fact, he hadn't. Kimball was found dead in his cell after an apparent medical episode. Matthew was placed on unpaid administrative leave. Corporal Armando Trevino is accused of making a drug deal while in uniform. He was arrested in June on 3 charges, including bribery and possession with intent to deliver.
He's been with the agency about 5 years now, and we understand that a good portion of that part of it has been smuggling drugs in. This is not his first time doing this.
Deputy Floyd Berry remains free on bond after being charged with 3 counts of official oppression. He's accused of forcing women to remove their clothing during improper strip searches following traffic stops. Investigators say they have evidence in at least 6 cases, but believe there could be more victims.
Now, our digital show, KSAT News at 9, put together an entire show dedicated to revisiting the year's biggest moments. You can watch that on demand right now on KSAT.com, the KSAT mobile app, or the KSAT TV app, available on Roku and other smart TV devices.
Flu cases are on the rise. San Antonio Metro Health showing a spike in visits to healthcare providers for flu-like illness. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Anthony Hartzler says it's still too early to say if this will be worse than other years. Right now, the numbers show flu activity is up over the same time last year, though close to the pace from 2 years ago. Over in Kirk County, a corrections officer died following reported complications with the flu. The sheriff there urging precautions. Though the flu is spiking, it's still not too late to get the shot. The latest now in the church shooting near Fort Worth tonight. Crowds coming together to honor the 2 people killed during yesterday's service in White Settlement, Texas. As the investigation into a motive continues, a community is leaning on each other to reflect.
A vigil for the lives lost in the Texas church shooting.
Then sings my soul.
A Sunday service interrupted by gunshots when a shooter opened fire. Before at least 6 armed parishioners fought back. Churchgoer Jack Wilson firing at the gunman before he could harm anyone else.
I don't feel like I'm a hero. I was doing what I needed to do to protect the people of the congregation.
The gunman identified as Keith Thomas Canunan, seen here from a prior arrest. 2 worshipers, 67-year-old Richard White and 64-year-old Tony Wallace, were killed in the attack. Wallace's grandson in the sanctuary at the time.
Gunman stood up and turned around to him. So probably like 3 feet away from my papa. It's kind of like heartbreaking, but sometimes you gotta be strong about it and just keep on going.
The state's attorney general calling this church a model, praising a state law that affirms the right of licensed handgun holders to carry a weapon in a place of worship.
We can't prevent every crazy person from pulling a gun, but we can be prepared like this church was.
Now, a community in mourning.
I lost 2 great men, friends, men that I consider putting above myself, who did the same for me.
Investigators, including the FBI, are still working to determine a motive for the gunman, but say he had been to the church several times before. We've also learned the gunman had a history of violent crimes, including a 2009 conviction for misdemeanor deadly conduct. He was also arrested in 2016 for unlawful possession of a weapon in New Jersey. His sister describing him as having lived on the streets and bouncing between the homes of friends.
Still ahead on the Nightbeat, a sergeant's car set on fire near Houston. Deputies now hoping surveillance video will help in their arson investigation.
And new developments in the stabbing attack during a Hanukkah celebration, the latest, up next on the Nightbeat.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
A rally tonight was held in response to the stabbing attack at a Hanukkah celebration over the weekend. The event was called Light Over Darkness and allowed participants to gather in prayer. The man accused of stabbing 5 people on Saturday is now facing federal hate crime charges. Investigators say he was armed with a machete when he entered a rabbi's home in Muncie, New York. A witness spotted the suspect's license plate, allowing officers to track his car into Harlem. Investigators say he had handwritten journals referring to Nazi culture with drawings of swastikas and the Star of David. They also found internet history searches for German Jewish temples.
Back here in Texas, over near Houston, the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office is trying to track down the person who set a sergeant's car on fire over the weekend. They're hoping this surveillance video will help catch that suspect. Take a look. A person gets out of an F-250 truck and throws several Molotov cocktails at the parked car. Investigators say it is not the first time the family has fallen victim to this type of attack. Back on December 23rd, 2 explosives were thrown at a front window of the same home. Investigators believe the 2 incidents might be connected. Neighbors say they are in shock over what's happened.
We figured it was some kind of retaliation or something just because of his line of work. We moved into this neighborhood within just a few months of each other. We've been friends and neighbors for 12 years and very close friends. And so it's heartbreaking that somebody's out to get him.
No one was hurt in either of the incidents. The Fort Bend County Sheriff says they are investigating the case as arson. They're looking into the sergeant's previous cases to try and narrow down any suspects.
Well, here at home, as you plan your New Year's celebrations, a reminder, fireworks are illegal inside city limits. This year, there is not a burn ban in effect. However, the Bexar County Fire Marshal tells us the ground is very dry. Also, they say avoid mixing alcohol with the handling of fireworks. And if you live within city limits and want to report any illegal use of fireworks, there are 2 hotlines to call. The San Antonio Fire Department can be reached at the first one, 210-207-0202, from 6 o'clock tomorrow until 12:30 New Year's Day, or 210-335-FIRE for Bexar County. Keep in mind, 911 is for emergencies only. The use of fireworks in the city of San Antonio can result in a Class C misdemeanor, which can carry a fine of up to $2,000.
Meanwhile, New York City is preparing for tomorrow's big celebration in Times Square. The iconic ball was lit up and sent up the 130-foot pole today. More than 32,000 LEDs are used to help the sphere shine. There are also 2,600 Waterford crystal triangles that enhance the effect. This year's design celebrates the gift of goodwill. It utilizes 3 pineapple cuts, signifying the traditional image of hospitality and goodwill.
Take a live look outside with live cam out there. We had a somewhat chilly of a day, but all in all, a nice one, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people enjoying this nice weather as we look out at the Alamo Dome from Utah and from Austin, Texas.
Yeah. So. Big game going on there tomorrow.
Big game going on there tomorrow. And you know what? We will give them great weather. And it'll be in the Alamo Dome.
Yeah.
But still, for everybody visiting, it's going to be pretty nice as we close out 2019. The one thing, though, that I will mention is although today had abundant sunshine, tomorrow the clouds are going to return, and temperatures should be just a touch cooler as well. But today was a beautiful day as we look out at the Alamo Quarry smokestacks there, 64 degrees outside for the high. That's just a touch warmer than average. But our morning low earlier was 34, so we were awfully close to freezing, and we'll be close to freezing tomorrow morning as well. Again, we saw a high of 64 degrees, but it's already 46. Since the sunset, we've been able to cool down pretty effectively. It's 36 in Kerrville, 43 Rock Springs, 40 in Uvalde. It's already freezing up in Azona, and 43 in Del Rio. Taking a look at the radar and satellite, you can see we've got clear skies over San Antonio, but look down toward Corpus Christi and Laredo, and you can see that clouds are starting to work their way back in for the coastal counties. Now, this is going to be our case tomorrow. We'll start off the day with clear skies, but by the afternoon, clouds will return. And on top of that, we are going to see a chance for rain within the next 48 hours or so. The good news is the rain should hold off until after we ring in the new year. More likely going to see scattered light rain on New Year's Day itself, all because of this low pressure system off of Baja California. That's our New Year's Day rain chance. So let's take you through the futurecast. Again, skies will become cloudy tomorrow. In the morning, though, we'll wake up to a beautiful sunrise. It's just that right around lunch hour, that's when that cloud deck will start to creep up to the north, making it to the hill country later on in the afternoon. But in San Antonio, right around the lunch hour. And then right at midnight, you can see that will be completely cloudy. Now, if you're worried about being able to see fireworks, you should be fine because that cloud deck will be high enough and the fireworks should be just okay. But again, on Wednesday, notice that scattered light rain will become the norm. South and east of San Antonio, that scattered light rain will be a little bit more organized. Areas south of San Antonio, south of Highway 90, have a better chance to see maybe a quarter inch of rain or more. Here in San Antonio, though, some places will only get 1/100th of an inch of rainfall. Definitely not a drought denter in the least. But that chance for scattered light rain is still there on Wednesday. And as a result, Wednesday is going to be very chilly. Temperatures will be in the 40s for most of Wednesday. So tomorrow, enjoy that sunshine as we start off the day because you won't see the sun for about 36 hours. By the afternoon, it'll be cloudy. Highs will stay in the 50s, close to 60 degrees. So it is going to be a cool one with a light wind from the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then we'll cool off really nicely. So just to make it extra clear for you, here's a look at New Year's Eve forecast. If you happen to be in downtown, cloudy skies, light winds, temperatures falling from the upper 50s to near 50 degrees by midnight. And then we'll kind of hang out around 50 degrees pretty much all day on Wednesday with that scattered light rain. First day of 2020 is going to be pretty chilly in my book. Then on Thursday, we're going to clear out nicely. And so by the weekend, it'll be pretty sunny. The one thing I will caution against is Friday is going to be windy with the northwest from the wind. Mountain cedar lives northwest of San Antonio. So we are going to be seeing a higher count of mountain cedar by the weekend. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword because you'll want to go outside because it's so sunny and beautiful. But if you suffer from an allergy from mountain cedar, you'll also want to stay inside.
Duly noted. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah, lots of Zyrtec. That's good advice, Tim.
Thank you.
All right. As far as we know, Jason Garrett still has a job.
As far as we know, he still has a job because he's under contract, I think, for 2 more weeks with the Dallas Cowboys. But he is supposed to meet tomorrow again with the Joneses. In the meantime, the players cleaned out their lockers today, and that had to be kind of an awkward situation. Plus, L.A. is becoming more of a three-point threat for the Spurs coming up.
This SA Salute holiday greeting is brought to you by Broadway Bank.
Hello, San Antonio. General James Creasel, Combined Joint Task Force, Horn of Africa. A big holiday shout out to all my friends in San Antonio. Appreciate your support. We're getting after it in Africa. We'll see you soon.
We'll see how the game unfolds, but we made a determination that going into this game that Levi is going to give us the best opportunity for us to win.
Smithson Valley alum Levi Williams will get the starting nod at quarterback for Wyoming in the Arizona Bowl in Big Board Sports.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Today is known as Black Monday in the NFL, the Monday after the end of the regular season when teams start firing head coaches. And as of now, the Dallas Cowboys have not publicly said if they plan to keep Jason Garrett or not. Garrett met with the Joneses today to discuss his future, and according to the Dallas Morning News, he will meet with Jerry and Stephen Jones again tomorrow. Now, today the Cowboys cleaned out their lockers and held exit interviews, not knowing Garrett's fate.
In reflection, I'm very fortunate to have spent the time that I did with Coach Garrett, and whether he's here next year or somewhere else next year, the group of men that he's going to be in front of will be better men and better players because of it.
Coach Garrett has stuck with me during some really, really tough times, where I've missed a lot of time, and when people stick with you during a tough time, your loyalty goes to a place that you never thought it could go.
And the Houston Texans are getting ready to host the Buffalo Bills in the first round of the NFL playoffs. Now, way back on January 3rd, 1993, the Houston Oilers blew a 35-3 third-quarter lead at Buffalo and lost the Bills 41-38 in overtime. Texans head coach Bill O'Brien, who was tight ends coach at Brown University in '93, was asked what he remembered about that game.
It's just... Oh, man, that was 30 years ago, 26 years ago. Holy smokes. I mean, look, I think this is about this week, and, this is about the Houston Texans versus a very, very good Buffalo Bills team, so I'm not going down that road.
Now, this time the game is in Houston, 3:35 p.m. Saturday, NRG Stadium, and Houston is favored by 3. It's almost time for the Texas Longhorns and the Utah Utes to square off in the 2019 Valero Alamo Bowl. Designated the home team, Texas is led by head coach Tom Herman, who's guided them to a bowl game in each of the first 3 seasons, winning the first 2 games. Now, Utah is led by 15-year head coach Kyle Whittingham, who's 11-2 in bowl games. Tomorrow night, which man will hoist up the Valero Alamo Bowl trophy?
Obviously, the regular season record wasn't what we'd hoped it was, but at this point, that's irrelevant. We've got one last game in the 2019 season. It's Texas. I mean, they got, the state of Texas is a recruiting, just a dream. I mean, so to have that fertile of a recruiting ground and right in your backyard, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they're a good football team and have been for years and years.
Game is tomorrow night, 6:30 at the Alamo Dome, and Utah is favored by 7. University of Wyoming true freshman quarterback Levi Williams will start in the Arizona Bowl when the Cowboys face the Georgia State Panthers New Year's Eve. Levi played in the last 2 games of the regular season and is ready for his first career start, telling KSAT 12 Sports, "We look to put on a show." Here's Coach Bull on why he named Levi his starter.
Well, I think he's continued to embrace our offense as we looked at a lot of the elements in our offense to continue to stress a defense. He came off the scout team several weeks ago and was integrated in to our game plan and what has occurred during that time. He's embraced our offense more. He's a bright young man. He did have the advantage. He was an early enrollee out of high school, so he had a spring football with us.
Tyler Vanderwall will serve as Levi's backup. The Arizona Bowl kicks tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. in Tucson. And coming up next, LaMarcus Aldridge and his 3-point shooting skills. Spurs big man LaMarcus Aldridge is on pace to shoot more 3-pointers than ever before. In his last season with Portland, he attempted 105, the most of his career. This season, he's put up 57 threes so far and made 23 for a career-best 40%. Saturday night, he went 5 for 6 from beyond the arc against the Pistons. Shooting threes, well, it's just part of today's NBA.
I'm definitely trying to, look for it more and try to reprogram my mind a little bit because I think more too. So, if I can mix in, 3 or 4 of them a game, that'd be good for us. We've, kind of been up and down at the 3. So if I can help, shoot a decent percentage from the 3, it just helps us in this league right now where, most teams are taking so many threes, and it definitely opens it up for DeMar, to be able to go isolation. And if my guy helps, then, I'm always open.
All right, Spurs will host the Warriors tomorrow night at 6 at the AT&T Center. The Spurs are attempting 26 threes per game. That's last in the NBA. Houston is attempting almost 45 per contest. That's number 1.
Big man makes a big splash.
He does.
Thanks, Larry.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
We've got clouds tomorrow as we ring in the new year, but scattered light rain will be with us on Wednesday, New Year's Day. It'll be chilly, but then we'll clear out nicely into the weekend. Should be a beautiful weekend for us.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
That does it for the Night Beat.
Good night.